Hi everyone, welcome. In this video, we are going to set up AWS VPN Client. Okay, before we go on, what is it actually? So this is a service provided by AWS, so we can set up what we call a secure connection from our local machine, your laptop or your desktop, to your AWS network. By that I mean your VPC, in order for you to connect to resources that are inside your network. For instance, within your private network. Okay, you want to set up a secure connection between your machine and your AWS network. Okay, so think about it. You are working remotely, you want to connect to resources within your AWS, you need your VPN connection. Okay, again, what is it actually when we talk about VPN? So VPN itself is just a technology that we use to create data encryption connection, so between your device and another network. Okay, again, I use another term, encryption. What is it actually if you say encryption? So encryption is like you are actually converting your plain text. Let's say you are sending a message over the internet, you want to actually make it in a form of that data cannot be read by anybody else except the person who has the key, okay, or the person who is authorized to view it. That's what we call encryption. So by that, you are converting your plain text, okay, to what we call a ciphertext. This is a mathematical algorithm we use to change this plain text to what we call ciphertext. So think about it, VPN, just a technology software we use to encrypt, turn it plain text to ciphertext, okay, between your laptop and another laptop or another connection, basically. Right. So we are going to set up one by connecting our machine, our laptop, to securely connect to, let's say, a database or an app which is sat in our private subnet within our AWS. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. But before I go on, so this is a bit of the definition about VPN, AWS VPN client. Okay, and this is what we trying to achieve, what it actually does. So you have your resources sat in your private subnet that cannot be connected over just over the internet. You want to establish a secure connection to those resources behind your network. Okay, so again, the connection should be encrypted. Okay, going to convert plain text to ciphertext, that's encryption. And then you as a remote person working, you'll be able to connect. It's not just working remotely. Even if you are at the hotel or something like that, at the airport or at the cafe, you might need to have a VPN set up so you have a secure encryption whenever you are connecting to a particular site. Just peace of mind. Okay, so this is one of the AWS provided services that we can use to connect to services. Right. What happened? So I've got this, diagram here just to show you. Sometimes pictures, speak more than thousand words. So what happened is this is okay. Let's go on here. So this is you. You got your laptop, your desktop, right? You have, let's say, your resources deployed in your VPC, in your subnet. Remember, resources provision in your private subnet cannot directly be accessed over the internet. Okay, but resources that are within the VPC can always talk to each other. Okay, so for instance, you have your application sat in your private subnet or database sat in your private subnet because it's database, you don't want to expose it, okay, in the public sector or public subnet. Okay, so what you want to do is to create what we call a client VPN. Okay, this is what we're going to create, and then this is you can download what we call any VPN software on your machine, use that, connect to the VPN client endpoint, and then you'll be able to access your resource. Again, I've got this here. So this is your user on your device. Download an app on your machine, VPN, AWS VPN client, you can download it. This will get authenticated. We are going to create a certificate to use it. Gonna create secure encryption channel, okay, and then we will create what we call AWS VPN client in our AWS account, okay, set up some few connection authorization rules and routes. Again, we're going to have some target routing on that. We're going to also create what we call security group to allow egress and ingress for this particular connection. And therefore, at the end, we should be able to connect to our VPC and access our resource, which are in our internal network. Okay, so let me actually log in into my console and then we will start that. Okay, too much of the talking, let's get some work done here. Let me come into here. All right, give me a second. Okay, so I'm in my AWS account, but before, right, we go on to create the client. Okay, let's look at the documentation, how to get started. Okay, so getting started. So this is the feature I'll show you. So basically, you can read through step by step. Okay, how you can configure this. Okay, so in this tutorial, we are going to set up this endpoint, provide all clients with access to a single VPC. Okay, we are going to use a single VPC. So we're going to use mutual authentication. So basically, if you follow the steps, okay, it tells you what to do. You've got prerequisite, make sure you have access to AWS, be able to provision AWS ACM, be able to create some few things within AWS. Okay, we're gonna create the endpoint. Okay, so basically we're going to follow these steps. All right, so if you go down, so prerequisite, you have your AWS account, you have all the permission, we're going to create the endpoint. Okay, we're going to start with that. So we got the two type of endpoint. So we going to use the VPN endpoint, just a single VPN. If you want to connect to multiple VPC, sorry, if you want to connect to multiple VPC, you can create what we call the transit gateway, connecting to multiple VPC. So we will use single one. Okay, first, step two, we need to generate server and client certificate. Okay, why do we need this? So when the authentication is happening, so the client and then the server will just make sure the certificates are valid, just for confirmation, and make sure this is coming from a genuine client and a genuine server. So we will do that. Okay, what we will do is we will store the certificate into ACM. Okay, and then after we're done, so after generating the certificate, we're going to create the VPN endpoint. Okay, so if you follow how to create that mutual authentication, the mutual authentication is between two clients. So the client will send certificate authentication to the server will also have to return that. So it's a two-way mutual authentication. So to do that, okay, if let's click on that mutual authentication, open that one. Okay, let's look at this. Right, so mutual authentication. So this is the steps how to create the certificate. So again, let's follow. If you are using Linux or Mac, just follow that. If you're on Windows, you can also follow this. So I'm on Mac, so let's follow this. First of all, we are going to clone this. Yeah. So this stage is the creation of the certificate. Okay, so I'll copy that. I'm using Cursor for that. So let me just paste it here. Gonna clone that, enter. Okay, so it's getting clone. I'll go to the next one and then copy that. So basically we're following step by step. Right, the cloning is done. Okay, so you can see this is what is cloning here. Okay, um, paste it here. Gonna cd into that. So I'm now inside of that. Okay, I'm inside of a folder. What next after cd into the folder is to create the environment for the PKI. Okay, so let's set the environment, let's initialize it, make sure everything is fine, paste it here. Okay, the environment is set up for the certificate creation. Okay, what next? After the environment, then we are going to build. Okay, To build new certificate, okay, the CA, run the command, okay, just follow the prompt. So we copy that as well, come back here, paste it there, okay, enter. And I'm gonna press enter on that again to accept that successfully built. Okay, everything is done. The CA is done. Okay, certificate authority, that is done. The next one, okay, let's try. Okay, that's the one built. So let's do the server certificate. Yeah, copy that, come back to your terminal, paste it here. Right, can you see on here, this is the name you want to give it to the the certificate. Okay, so here you can change it if you want to. Okay, where it says server here, you can change it if you want to. Okay, the server to whatever name you want. Let's say simply done server, but let's leave it the way it is. Enter on that. Okay, and can you see this is the CN and then this is the name. Okay, this is the common name for the server. We happy with that? We will say yes to this, and then we enter on that. Right, so the server certificate is done. Okay, that one certificate is done, and the keys. Okay, so what we need to do now is to generate the client certificate and key. Okay, so we done the server one, certificate and key. We're going to do the client certificate and key. So again, remember, if you are leveraging on this key, sometime you have multiple users. Let's say you have multiple remote workers who want to connect to your DB or your private server. You would like to create multiple certificate for each user, basically. So to that end, if you look here, it says you can continue to repeat this step to create the certificate for each user, basically. Okay, so if this is just me, so I'm gonna create it once, but you can create multiple one and just change the name, okay, here to whoever you want to assign it to. Okay, so let's copy that and do the client, and I will change it to my name. So I'll say paste it here, and then on this, let me move it here, and I'm gonna remove it and put, let's say, simply done tech here. So here, let's put simply done. Simply done should be fine. Okay, that will be the client certificate name. If you are creating it for more users within your organization, you repeat the steps no matter how many times you are doing it. Okay, so we're happy with that. It's just me, simply done for now. Okay, and I'll enter on that. Okay, and I'll confirm that. Happy days. Cooking on the gas now. Everything is going all right. Right, so let's follow again. Now this is done. If you move to step 6, we're going to copy the certificates, all those one we've done, the certificate and the keys for both server and the client. We're going to copy into this folder called custom folder. Yeah, so let's grab everything, but we would like to do one thing. If you follow the step, see this name of the client, we change it to ours. So at this point, we will change this as well. Okay, we change this one and then we change that. So I've copied that. Let's go to my IDE and then we can make quick amendment on that. Let me just quickly paste it here for now, and then we can sort something out. Okay, oh, where is it? Paste. Right, so here our name for that, what is that? Simply done, that one. So we can replace that one. We copy that, and I'm going to replace it here. Okay, if you like to keep the way it is, just keep it the way it is for now. I mean, whilst you were creating the certificate, if you want to leave it for client one, it's fine, but let's change it on mine, paste it there. Okay, that's fine. And then for the keys, again, okay, then we move one more, paste it there. And that should be simply done. Yeah, so we're good. So I'm going to copy all this for now. Okay, and then I'm going to paste it in my terminal again. Okay, paste it, enter on that. Okay, so now you see the last command is cd or change directory into that folder. That's why I'm in my folder here now. Right, so if I look for this folder, let me open it this in another terminal with VS Code here. So let me press enter. Okay, just find your folder and open it basically, just to have a look. Okay, this is my folder. So we created the CA first, we created the server certificate and key, and then we created the user set and the key. So if you go in here, these are the certificate and keys. Yeah, right. Let's go back to the steps again. So after we're done, you can upload the certificate in AWS ACM. Okay, you can use the command line to do it. Okay, can you see here? Basically import the certificate. Okay, you can use the command line to do it. Just copy it here, but I want us to do it manually so we know how it's done. Okay, in AWS. So let's go to our AWS and go to ACM. Where is ACM? So ACM. So ACM. Okay, and then what I need to do? Come on, open a new tab here. Okay, go to certificate. We are going to import the certificate. Okay, come on, have a look here. Certificate. This is taking a while to open. Just give it a minute. Right, let me import this certificate. Right, so import certificate. Right, so we got the certificate body. This is for the server, yeah. Certificate bodies for the server, yeah. Certificate private key for the server, and then the CA is the certificate chain, yeah. So let's look for the certificate body. Where's by so certificate body, so that one, the server one, yeah. I'm gonna copy all that, copy everything here. Okay, copy, go back to ACM certificate body. I'm gonna paste it here. Okay, make sure there's no white space or anything underneath, yeah. And then we're gonna do the key, the certificate key. Okay, where is the key? That's the key, server key, yeah. Copy everything. Okay, remember it begins with the private key and then ends with the private key. Go back here, paste that one there. Now the chain, certificate chain, is the CA. Okay, so let's grab the CA, the certificate authority, grab that. Okay, happy days. Come here to the certificate chain, put it there. Right, we can tag it if you want, but let's leave it now and then just import. So now the certificate has been imported. Okay, there will be ARN for it. We will use it later on when we're creating the endpoint. Okay, certificate is now imported and we good. We go back to the steps again. Okay, so where is it? Okay, we generate that. Where are we? Okay, let me see. I think yeah, right. So the certificate bit is done. We finished. Okay, certificate created and imported into AWS SCM. So the other steps, so we were here. So this step has been done. Now we need to create the client. Okay, so again, you follow the steps, you should be able to do this. Okay, this is where we need the ACM. Okay, so let's go to our AWS account. And let's go to the VPN, and then what we need to do is to create VPN. right? So we're not gonna use the quick setup. Let's use the standard so we can go through every steps, right? So this one, let's call it simply, let's call it simply done VPN or something. Yeah. Okay, you can describe it if you want. The VPC. Remember, the VPC you are creating or the endpoint that you are creating, you need to make sure you are in the same region as the ACM. So we just created the ACM, remember, in this region, and we are creating the endpoint. Okay, with the VPC, they should be in um, the same region. Okay, so VPC, we here. Remember, we are only creating net against, we want to connect to a VPC, not transit gateway. The transit gateway is like when you want to connect to multiple VPC. Okay, more than one VPC, you use transit. Okay, but we are only using single VPC as a connection point. So we find our VPC. I've already created the VPC. Okay, that we are going to use within this VPC. This is where I have my what we called EC2 that is in my private network. I will show you in a bit. Okay, so security group. So we need security group for our VPN endpoint. We don't have one. Let's quickly create one. Whilst we're creating that, I will show you the EC2 that I've already created. So let me go here. Let's find EC2. Okay. Um, Let me create security group. Okay. Let me create the security group. Create security group. So let's give it a name VPN uh, endpoint endpoint SG security group. Okay. Let's do that. Let me see VPN endpoint SG. Okay, you can literally copy the same thing and put it here, or if you want to describe it properly, you can. Right, so the VPC, okay, is the VPC I had already created. I'm going to use that. If you're not sure how to create VPC, I have a separate video on how to create VPC, but the reason why I'm choosing VPC is the one that I deploy the EC2 into it, and I want to connect to this VPC with a private subnet. Okay, so I select that. So what I need to do, we don't need to do anything for now, okay, for the client security group. So let's create, okay, and then whilst we're here, let me show you the instance. That's, what is that? Okay, so this is the one running. This is my private EC2 is hosting what we call my private web. Okay, so this is secure. You cannot access this over the internet because it's got private IP. No public IP is sat behind my VPC in a private subnet, and I want to access it, even SSH into it or connect, ping it basically. So I need to be able to use the VPN client to do it, right? So that is the idea, right? So let's go back to the steps. So we are here again. So let's continue now. If we refresh this, we should be able to see our SG security group. What was it? So VPC VPN endpoint SG. That's the one. Yeah, we select that. Okay. Here IP address. So let's pick IP version 4, IP version 4. Okay, for the endpoint address and then the traffic IP address type. Right. The client VPC CIDR. Okay, so the client that is going to connect to your VPC, any user will be given a specific IP within the range that we are going to select. Okay, this will be randomized. Okay, whoever will try and connect will be assigned specific IP. So let's give a range. If you look here, where is it? So the CIDR must be between, so /12 and then /22. Okay, and it can't overlap the VPC CIDR, this VPC CIDR. Okay, right. So what we need to do is to give a VPC that is not same as the one we have. So the one we have here, let me see, go back here, VPC, that is the VPC. Let me show you the range. Open a new tab here. Show you where is that one. Yeah, that's the range. So it shouldn't overlap with this range. Okay. So if you go back to where we were, the side that we are going to create, it shouldn't be something different. Okay. So let's pick something like one, let's say 92.168, say .0.0, and then let's give a range like between the 12 and the 6 and then 22. Let's give 16, anything. Okay. So pick your range, and then the client, whoever is trying to connect, will give any IP within this range. Right. The authentication. So this is where we need the ACM ARN. Okay. The certificate we uploaded, we need the ARN. So we can literally go here and then pick. This is the ARN of the certificate. Okay. Of the server. Right. The authentication option. So we are using the mutual authentication, okay, not the user-based authentication. So this is the mutual authentication. What we can use is the same ACN for the server we uploaded. Okay. Again, you can use a different ARN, but that you need to upload the client certificate as well onto that. But because we want to create different certificates for different users, we've only uploaded that. Okay, right. So let's move on to that, and then we should be okay. So let's use the mutual authentication for the same ACM certificate, okay, ARN. So let's grab that, and then the client interface, let's have a look. Right, so if you want to allow some lambda function to authorize some connection base, you can use that. Okay, self-service portal, so this will also allow you to download the VPN client that is configured. Okay, so for this one, if normally when you're using SSO for this, you need that. We are not going to use that. We're just going to download the client ourselves and establish the connection. Okay, you can also put what we call client login banner, just to display when you are connected, or when there's a session established, you'll be able to see your banner. Okay, so the DNS configuration, we will leave it the way it is. So if you leave it, it will pick up the DNS for the VPC that we created. So let's leave it. Okay, and then the connection protocol, again on here, if you leave it to full tunnel, that means all the connection from your client, okay, even if they just want to access a website, or will be going through the VPN, and this can cost you. So to that end, let's do a split. Okay, so any specific target that you set to this VPN will go through the VPN tunnel. So let's split it. Okay, that is fine. And then we are going to use the protocol as UDP. Okay, the reason being, we just want to quickly establish the connection. If you have something like, the I will say, if you don't have UDP, okay, and there's an issue between the client and then the actual server, okay, there will be an issue buffering all the time. So you just want the connection just to establish quick as possible to your client and then your VPN server. Okay, so we use a UDP fast, connection that will help us to do that. Or the port, we have two options, 443 and then 1194. So let's go for the 443. And then the session, again, you can change the session timeout or leave it away. So 24 hours can time out. Okay, and then we leave the way everything is here. If you want to configure it a bit more, you have the options. Okay, you can tag your resource, and then apart from that, have a quick once over, make sure you are happy. So standard, detailed, giving the name, The network we're using VPC, your VPC, security group you've created, IPs, your client side range, authentication, ACM. Okay, so leave the way everything is, and then all you need to do is to create your endpoint. Okay, so while the endpoint is getting created, you will see it's pending. What is it pending? It's pending association. Association of what? Okay, where do you want your client to connect to? Okay, is it a subnet? Is it a specific private subnet you want to connect to? Is it a VPC? Is it a multiple subnet? You can associate it. Okay, so let's do the association. Let's check that box and then go to target network association, right? So we'll go on the target network association. So what is the target? Okay, our EC2 is sat in a private subnet and we want to connect to it. Okay, or your database, for example, is sat in your private network. So what you need to do is to associate this to the subnet where your VPs is sat. Basically, you can pick any of them in a way. It doesn't necessarily means the subnet that your resources is sat in. Any of it should be fine, but let's pick one private subnet. Okay, you can associate as many as you can, but let's pick this. If you pick one, remember all the subnet are in the same VPC, so you can still talk to each other once you're able to connect to the VPC, okay, with the client. So let's associate that. And the next one you see is still associating. Let's keep going on. We know our security group for the endpoint. We already created that. The authorization rules. Okay, so what is this authorization rule? Let's go into it and I'll show you. Right, so on here, can you see the destination network to enable access? Where do you want your client, the user, to connect to? What VPC or what CIDR range do you want them to connect to? Remember, it's the VPC you've created with your resources. Okay, so we will pick the VPC ID or the VPC CIDR. Let's look at it. What's that VPC? That range. Okay, we can grab this range, copy that range, come back here. So where do you want, where is the destination? Okay, that is the rules. We pick that, and then we are going to allow access to all users. You can narrow it down to a specific group. Okay, you can keep narrowing it down to a specific group if you want to, but for now let's allow everyone that is connected to the VPN to be able to access these resources. Okay, you can describe it. Once you're done, you can add the authorization rules. Okay, so add that. Right, it's still pending a situation. That's all good. Whilst he's doing that, okay, we almost kind of done with this. Let's look at the route. Can you see you the route is still creating? What you can do is you can add more route. Where do you want the traffic to go? You can add as many as you can, even to the internet, wherever. Okay, you can add your various route connections. So when we are able to connect to this endpoint securely, you will see who has been able to connect. Okay, one is the connection was established, and then the various details about the connection on here. Okay, but for now, whilst it's still pending, let me take you to the steps again. So where is it? So we've done the association of the network. We've added the authorization rules. Okay, we provided. Okay, we didn't provide access to the internet. That is the route. If you want to add more route to the internet, you can. Okay, so allow that, but for now we only want the connection to come to our VPC. Right, so verify security group requirement. You've already allow that security group that we created. Right, so the next thing we can do, so this is the security group of the endpoint. Yeah, what we can do is to download. Right, download our client VPN configuration. This is after the whole thing, the endpoint has been created. Once we're done, we just make few amendments to it, and then we will connect to the endpoint. Okay, right. So Whilst again that is still creating, for you to download, okay, the client, we have two options. We can either use the AWS. Remember, we need to download the client like I show you here. If you look at it, you have your laptop, you download VPN client. It's just a software you download. You have your Open VPN, you can download that, or the AWS VPN client. So I've got this here, these two, so you can download it here. AWS VPN download, you can do that. Or what I've done is I've downloaded what we call the Open VPN. Okay, this is what I have download, and I'll show you. I've got the two. This is the AWS VPN client, and I've got the Open VPN. Okay, once everything is ready, I'll show you how we can connect safely. But for now, let me just minimize this here and then come back to our, okay, now here, let's go back here. So it's still pending. This will take about 10 minutes to get that. Whilst it's doing it, let me show you the EC2 we have. I will try and, connect to it, and then you see what is going to happen. Okay, so where is it? Come back here. Not that one. I think it's this one. Yeah. So it is private. Okay. It's running. When I try to connect, let me use. Let me see. What is that? Let me use. Let me use that. Okay. I copy that. Let me paste it here. Okay. We will get this. We are not able to connect. This is still buffering. Nothing is happening. Okay. Again, let me minimize that. If I try to SSH, not SSH, actually ping it, okay, nothing should happen. Let me bring my terminal here. Okay, let me just bring my terminal here, and I'm just going to say ping. Okay, ping what? Ping that IP. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'm getting request timeout. Okay, so probably we can open the port for this and see what will happen. Okay, but we're getting timeout. Let me just end this. Control C. I've ended that. So that's EC2. I'm not able to ping it. So we can probably open some security group. And what I will do, because we also, when everything is done, we also want to connect to this VPC. We will allow the ingress of the VPN security group to our EC2. Okay, so this is our EC2. In that EC2 security group, where is it? Where is that security group? We'll go to security, and then where is that? Okay, that's the security group. Let's open that one also in a new tab. Okay, here. Okay, again, whilst we're waiting for the endpoint to create, we are literally checking. So for the EC2 security group, we have no ingress. Okay, so what we need to allow is to allow the ingress of the endpoint, a VPN client endpoint that we created. Okay, so we'll be able to establish the connection to this. So we allow the rules. Okay, and what we will do is to allow, so we want to be able to ping it. Okay, send ICMP connection. So let's pick that, and then we can allow it from where our VP, the endpoint. Where is that security group? VPN, yeah, that's the one. And then we save. Okay, what I want to also add is one more. Okay, that is the app that is running on the EC2 is running on port 80. Okay, so let me allow port 80 for now, so which is HTTP. Where is HTTP? Here you go, port 80. And then again, I'm going to allow it from the VPN security group. Where do I get that one? And then I'll save. Okay, Still, we haven't done anything yet. So if everything seems to be all right, so that connection should be able to work, but it will not work. So again, if I do the ping again on what on that, it will still not work. Let's see. Okay, even though I've allowed the port, we're still getting timeout. The reason being it's sat in private network and we are not allowed to connect unless we are in the network of the VPC. To do that, that's why we are establishing the VPN, okay, connection to the VPC. So we're able to send this request. Let me end this. So Control C. Right. Let's go back and check and make sure our endpoint is still on. Okay, it's available now. So what we will do is to, okay, so that is available. Everything is set up. Let's have a quick once over. Detail. Why is this thing pending on here? Refresh that. Authorization. Okay, that's active. That's active. Yeah, this is associated. Authorization is active. This is what I want to see. Right. So from here, we can download, okay, our client configuration. Again, if you look at the list I showed you, at the end, it's like you have to download, yeah, download the VPN endpoint configuration, and then we're going to make few amendments to it. Okay, so download, what is it? Okay, download, download, bye. Okay, right. What I will do is to open that. Let me go here. We go to download. This is it. Okay, and then I'm going to open it with my cursor. Okay, for example, you can open it with any text editor that you want, but I prefer to use cursor. So let me pick this one, open that. Okay, okay, this is what we have. Right, go back here and look at the steps. So in the steps, what we need to see is the certificate we are going to add. So open the VPN endpoint configuration. Okay, you have to edit it, and what are we going to add? So place the content of the client certificate. So we're going to add this. Okay, so the client certificate and then the client key. So if I copy that and go to um, the download, so this is it. So in here, see this client download, we are going to add. Let me put that here, paste it here. I'm going to copy the client certificate content and paste it here and the key there. Okay, remember those ones, I paste them here. So I'm interested in the client. So if you are creating multiple client, you have to create multiple certificate for them and then update the file, the downloaded file for each of the client. You copy each client certificate and the key, you paste it in there. Each of them, you paste in there. So for this one, I'm only working with done, simply done. So I'm going to copy simply done certificate from the top here all the way to the bottom here. Okay, bottom here, copy that. Okay, that's the certificate. It's in my cursor here. So that is the set. So I'm going to remove this. Okay, make sure remove everything, and then I'm going to paste it here. Happy days, we're cooking on the gas. We're going to do the keys. Okay, so come back here now. Let's find the key. This is the key again from head to toe. Okay, we grab that, copy that, go back to my cursor ID, and then the content here. I'm going to remove that. Okay, remove completely and paste the new one here. Just cross check, make sure you are cooking on the gas. Yeah, where is it? So that's the key. Start from here, begin and ends here. That the other one start from here. Where is it? CA. This is the CA. This is the set from here all the way to there. Okay, so we good. Right. Now, what next? This is where we are going to establish our connection from the VPN to the VPC to have access to resources within our VPC. So what we do is we look at the client you've downloaded. I've downloaded the OpenVPN Connect. If you have AWS VPN, is the same thing. Okay, let me use that one. What I need to do, where is it? Go back here. So what I need to do here is to upload the file. Yeah, so I'm going to upload the downloaded file. Remember, I've amended, I've added the client certificate and the key. So I'll look at it. Where is it? Where is the download? Is this one? Paste it, open that. Okay, and I'm going to import it to the client, and then I'm going to connect. Okay, connect. Let's see if we are good. Okay, right, so we're getting few things coming through here. So yeah, we good. Now if we try to establish our ping connection to our server, okay, try again. So what we're going to do is we're going to send ping to, what is it called, what is that one? So is that one, isn't it? This one. Okay, so we're going to ping it again and make sure if we are good. Now we're getting packet in, packet out. Yeah, so we're cooking on the gas here. Now the stuff on our website is, let's go back and see if we're able to access that. Okay, so come back here, let's try and refresh it, and then here we go. Okay, remember we only use the private IP of the EC2 instance. Okay, where is that? Where is this? So private, oh, where is it? Where's the EC2? Where is it disappear to? Okay, here you go. Let me minimize this. Okay, so this is the private IP. Okay, and we are able to, ping it, and we're able to see the stuff on it, all because we established VPN connection to that. Right, I hope somebody out there learned something. Okay, so that is how to set up your VPN, and I hope this is helpful. What I'm going to do is to delete everything. Okay, I hope this video helped. Right, so all we've done so far is to create what we call the, where's my slide? Here you go. Okay, cancel that. So from my machine, I downloaded the app. Okay, and then I got certificate created, and I'm able to create a secure connection tunnel to the AWS VPN endpoint. Okay, the certificates were uploaded to ACM. I established the rules with the security group allowing ingress from the VPN security group to the resource I want to connect to, and now I'm able to access my EC2, which is hosting my internal application. Okay, I hope this is helpful. Let me destroy my resource and we should be good. Before I destroy it, let me just disassociate this. Okay, oh, this is the rules, it doesn't matter. Let me just disassociate this. So disassociate this, disassociate that. Okay, whilst it's doing that, let me just go to my security group. Okay, my EC2, let me turn it off actually. Stop it. Okay, stop it for now. Good. Okay, once this is done, I'm just going to delete that. Spending. Okay, now I think I can delete the action. Delete. Let's see. And then I'll say delete. Okay, so watch out for the next video. I'm going to establish connection to a database using VPN. I've done a video whereby I was able to establish connection from your local machine using dbeaver or pgadmin connected to your database in a private subnet. Okay, this time I'm going to connect using VPN client. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is deleted, Happy learning. See you next video. What I will say is please also subscribe to my channel. This kind of motivate me to do more video. Again, share my link. If you want me to do specific video, let me know. Comment as well. and I'll be able to answer any other things. Okay. So anyway, if you need one-on-one support, any mentorship, you can also send me email or anything like that. I'm happy to support you throughout your career switch or your cloud journey. Happy learning. Bye bye.